ICE is really a paramilitary force that is terrorizing certain parts of the population in this country. We have like detention facilities for children, and they're reminiscent of like Japanese internment camps. The separation of families has always been a way to lay the groundwork for ethnic cleansing and genocidal policies. I'm Marissa Holmes, and I'm part of MAC, the Metropolitan Anarchist Coordinating Council, and I'm also involved with Occupy ICE NYC, building a grassroots movement against these immigration policies. In mid-June, there was a vigil that started about separation of families outside the main detention facility in Portland, and that developed into a full-blown encampment where people were setting up tents and a kitchen and all sorts of services, also like legal services for people who were going through the system and protesting, ultimately shutting down the facility.
It is growing. Protesters camped outside ICE headquarters in southwest Portland.
Well, now it's expanding to different cities across the United States.
Seattle, Tacoma, LA, Detroit, Philadelphia. And then here in New York, a lot of people were having this sense of urgency and wanted to stay and occupy outside of Barrack Street. And so some people from MAC, myself included, went down and we talked with everyone and we were like, how can we actually make this, more organized action? And so we put out the official call for Occupy ICE NYC.
Deportations happen here.
We developed, like a watch system to do surveillance of all the different vans that were going in and out, and it was very clear, 6 guys lined up in handcuffs, being taken away, not brought into the facility for court, but being taken out, and 80% of people who were going through the process in that building end up being deported. We were actually trying to stop people from being deported, by putting our bodies on the line. So, unfortunately, DHS and ICE decided that they would just close all the courts, and that would prevent people from being able to go post-bond. And we didn't want to leave any opening for DHS to retaliate further against the communities that are directly impacted and that we want to be working with. And so we ended the occupation at Barrack. DHS will use whatever opportunity possible to disrupt the kind of organizing that we're doing, especially if it gets attention, and especially if groups that maybe don't usually work together start working together, and there's this larger sense of solidarity. That's really dangerous to DHS. Under Obama, there were twice as many deportations as had been under previous regimes, and there was already an escalation happening. A lot of the structure that we currently have with ICE was built by the Obama administration, but Trump has really taken advantage of that structure and given it even more power than it had before. During the Obama years, there weren't as many workplace raids or school raids. People weren't really just picked up on the street. That has changed. Now, anywhere, anytime, you can potentially be stopped. And this is the thing, even Know Your Rights trainings that I went to last year or a few months ago are outdated. Communities don't have the tools necessarily to fight back legally. ICE agents in the field offices used to have a very detailed warrant, and now often what we're seeing is that they just disregard that altogether and sometimes will impersonate police officers. If you think it's just a routine check, or if it's a police officer and you open the door and it's an ICE agent, then they trap you. So they play all sorts of games like that, and they get away with it. There's no way in which they're evaluated. There's no systematized way. Like there's nothing that is the same from one field office to the next, and that's by design. ICE can do whatever they want without any oversight, and it's incredibly criminalizing and dehumanizing for communities that they're targeting. I mean, I'm from Ohio, and I've definitely heard this, from people there, that they want to blame immigrants for their own economic situation. Oh, I'm unemployed, therefore it must be someone else's fault. It's really easy to fall into that trap. And Trump really played on these insecurities that people have to win the election and to implement these immigration policies now. People aren't coming here because they want to steal your job. People are coming here because they have to. And everyone should take that into consideration. They're not enemies. They're people. We're talking about just other human beings and their kids. It's not just a matter of abolishing ICE and rebranding it or restructuring it. We need to do away with the entire framework from which ICE began. We need to completely do away with DHS and find other ways of doing justice. We need to open the borders and not have these incredible arbitrary lines dividing people. If you're currently working as an ICE agent, you should consider what the job is that you're doing. Consider what orders you're actually executing and whether or not it is morally and ethically justifiable for you to do them, and quit your job.